Everyone, welcome to Anime Amigos, the anime podcast that has a good joke at the beginning that you'll inevitably end up wondering, how did he come up with it?
Not this time.
Oh,
Probably not.
Because depression.
No, I do have. Just do your intros.
I'm Calvin Atkinson, the Pokemon punk, wondering what the hell has happened.
I'm Mr. Gundam Guru, watching the Gundam fandom implode recently.
I'm Ren the JoJo Genius, still waiting for the next release.
I'm Mary the Vanguard Vagrant, still very much debating my nickname. And we're doing a lot for Halloween this year. We're reviewing a horror movie, kids are dressing up as Ren for trick-or-treating, and I've convinced my neighbours, despite their candies, are copies of King's Game.
Finally, to educate the youth.
Do you know what's amazing? There's still the poisoned Halloween candy story going around America right now.
Fun fact, that anime is 5 years old.
King's Game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's been 5 years since we ranted about it for the first time.
I'm not being funny. People who are concerned about having their children's drugs children's Halloween candy
What's
spiked
this?
with drugs.
They spiked my drugs with Snickers bars!
Don't understand that people don't often give away free drugs like that.
No,
So,
I should actually point out the only case has ever been found of a child's Halloween candy being spiked. This is a good thing for parents to say, don't worry about this. The only other example that was ever found was a father who did it to his own son.
Yeah.
That's the only recorded example. Insurance.
Yeah, life insurance thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, it's not possible. Despite the fact what you're going to read about the idea of rainbow fentanyl being snuck in with all your kids' candy, it's not going to be there this year. It's safe.
Yeah, because fentanyl is expensive and always wasted on kids.
There's not exactly a massive market for resale value.
Yeah.
But anime we're talking about today, we're talking about, the thing is, we're talking about Satoshi Kon's first film, because not only would it be, next year will be the 25th anniversary of this film, of his first film, this would have been the month of his birthday had he not died.
Aww.
It's, how familiar are you guys with Satoshi Kon prior to this one?
Not really much.
I've seen a trailer for Paprika, and that's it.
I do know Paprika's a thing, that's my
he also did Paranoia Agent.
Which is what I've seen.
I've seen Paranoia Agent.
Oh, I didn't know you did that one.
Yeah. I've seen Paranoia Agent, Paprika, and obviously I've seen Perfect Blue as well.
He loves the films beginning with P, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He also did
Pokemon, Pac-Man.
He also did my favourite.
Porn.
He also did my favourite Christmas movie, or one of my favourite Christmas movies, Tokyo Godfathers.
Oh, he did that one.
Yeah, that's Satoshi Kon. I was surprised when I said it. I was like, this is a Satoshi Kon. Then you get to the end and you're like, yeah, this is a Satoshi Kon film.
So for those who don't know, he does a lot of kind of like psychologically thrilling and disturbing films.
And he's basically Japan's H.P. Lovecraft.
I thought that was Junji Ito.
I think between them, Junji Ito...
He's more Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, I think that's a better description of him. I think Kon is more of a Del Toro, whereas... stop messing with the microphone.
So it's just because it's on the laptop.
Let me double check that thing. I was checking you haven't turned it off. Knowing our luck.
When you're speaking.
Well, I mean, from what I learned, Perfect Blue is actually based off a light novel, I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, and it's the only time Kon wrote based on an adaptation. Every other work he did was his own ideas, which explains why Paprika is quite hard to fathom when you first watch it.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that Paprika was used as inspiration for Christopher Nolan. A lot of Inception is borrowed from Paprika.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and those were the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh yeah. There is a bit of Ra's al Ghul's thing is a bit Paprika. But what do you guys? Before we go to a full spoiler talk on Perfect Blue, because some people haven't seen this film, and there's a very good reason why, which we'll get into. Non-spoiler thoughts, Reese.
It's good, but it definitely needs a rewatch after you watch it the first time.
Elliot?
What the fuck did you make me watch? And why do I love it so much? This was great.
Ren?
Really, really incredible film, but I think I've got a couple of tries.
You still haven't brought back my copy.
I'm so sorry. It will never be home to you.
No, it's lost the annals of time.
Yeah.
But my thoughts on it is Perfect Blue is a flawed film, but I think it's good in spite of its flaws, despite the fact I don't like the ending.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I didn't like the ending very much.
We'll get into the ending of it, but I will say, we're now full out of spoilers, we're talking the whole thing. and obviously, it's in the description, but obviously, trigger warning, we're discussing some themes of sexual assault.
Should we give a little overview of what the film's about for these?
Well, yeah, but obviously we're going to have to. But obviously, to talk about that, we're going to have to do that one. So you have to get that out of the way in the first place.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. Sorry, yeah, you are.
Yeah, but the overview of the film is it's basically about a pop idol named Miyama Kori.
Mami.
Mima.
Sorry, Mima.
Mima. How's
I
her
don't remember.
Mima Kirigoi.
Kirigoi, that's it. And she's moving out of the field from being a pop idol to an actress, which common field for.
Well, it's not really her. It's not really her. It's more the agency that's making her do it.
The agency is making her do it because it's kind of what women in that.
I understood it was her decision, but was it the agency?
I mean, at the beginning, one of them was really pushing for her to become one, and Mima didn't really say anything during that, so it's kind of implied that it was the industry getting her to do it.
Again, because Kon does like to do a lot of commentary on Japanese society.
Yeah.
You definitely get a sense he doesn't really like Japanese society and Japanese sensibilities, especially in Paranoia Agent. Paranoia Agent is very critical of the masses. She then does a very she does a film where she plays a rape victim turned murderer, and afterwards the film's fictional events start getting portrait sort of redone in the real world, and it's like, and she starts getting visions of these murders and
of her previous self as an idol as well.
Yeah, and she's basically we're seeing this person coming apart. I think it's a psychological thriller. It's excellent in that regard.
Fun. Yeah, so we start to see her fictional work bleed over into the real world.
Yeah.
So the one thing I was thinking of, considering that I think all of you watched it for the first time apart from me.
Yeah.
How easy would you say it was to comprehend everything that was happening in it?
At the beginning, it was kind of easy, but then as it went down the line, you just think, what the fuck is going on?
Sorry. If anyone else wants to chime in.
The other one that I wondered, which was the one where she's being interrogated and you can see the people on the other side of the glass saying she thinks she's this.
Oh, I loved that scene. That for me was a great one.
That one kind of works, but it also kind of contradicts where the story goes, because we know that she's not the false one at that point, or at least we think so. But that kind of just muddies the water. I mean, it kind of plays into the plot twist, which kind of works, doesn't kind of work.
Well, in my opinion, the interrogation actually plays into it more with that ending.
Yeah, it does actually, kind of. But
I think no, sorry, I've completely forgotten what the question was.
No. It was how easy was it for you to comprehend watching this for the first time? And
I got it once towards the end.
Did you? You said you might watch this with your girlfriend. Did you end up doing that?
Yeah, we watched it. Yeah, we watched it last night.
What was her opinion on it? Because
she really liked it. I think there were parts that were confusing. I mean, for both of us. But towards the end, after we'd kind of talked it out, it kind of made sense.
So tempted to make a joke of there were parts that were confusing for both of us.
Yes, indeed. Parts of our life continually.
Reese, what about you? Because you're the only person I haven't heard on this one.
It gets confusing while you watch it, but when you sit back afterwards and go over it yourself, parts do slide into place more easily.
Yeah. Do you want to know the funny thing about this film? I was not scared at all while watching it. I was fine. Yeah, when it finished, I just felt this incredibly overwhelming feeling of dread.
Yeah.
I was just saying, did this film fucking get me this terrified?
Yeah.
I mean, I did actually put I put a GIF in chat when people reacted to it, saying, "Dear God, what have I done?"
Yeah.
And I just sent that clip from Castlevania, going, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah. I think part of the film's appeal is that it's that it's so incomprehensible at some points, and one of my kind of criticisms ties into that.
Do you want to know something that actually reminds me of? It reminds me of like a very complex version of Joker, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's essentially because the way I saw it was essentially her sort of deep diving into insanity.
Yeah.
And you're not sure which parts are real, which ones are not. Except, unlike Joker, you don't really get the answers at the end.
Yeah.
What is?
I think another good comparison in terms of pop culture films is Black Swan.
Yeah, I was about to bring that one up. Black Swan is compared to this film a lot.
Yeah. Definitely takes inspiration from it.
How many of you guys have seen Black Swan?
No.
I have, but it's been a very long time.
Okay, which one would you say is better then, Ren? Black Swan or
It's
Perfect
been a
Blue?
while since I've seen Black Swan, but I think probably for its time, I don't know. I don't have any knowledge of any other films that have done something similar. I'd say. I don't know.
I think Black Swan nails its ending better. That's one of the reasons I think Black Swan might be a little bit better. I think you can sort of tell Coen's. From what I gather, a lot of Coen's sensibilities are in this, and a lot of his tropes are in this, but they weren't exactly in the novel. So so a lot of people who've read the novel say it's kind of crowbarred in there.
The ending, I definitely agree, is better for Black Swan.
Yeah, the ending for Black Swan
kind of reflects the journey.
What do you guys do you guys think? Did you guys think it was overall a coherent plot, or do you think there's times where it went, no, that didn't work?
Well, the tricky part was which parts were real and which parts were just in her imagination.
Yeah.
I'll also say,
Or I guess in another way, which parts were her and which parts were the
Villain.
the
what's the
villain.
villain?
We
Yeah.
won't go into the plot twist just yet,
Yeah.
but
I think overall it was pretty coherent. Like as Reece said, when you take a step back from it and kind of just digest it, it makes sense, but maybe not. Well, and not in the moment. But I don't think it's meant to make sense in the moment.
Yeah.
a lot of people have said the film's exploitative. Do you agree or disagree on that one?
It is, but in the nature of it, kind of shows how actresses are very much exploited in media and in ways.
So it is, but it's
Like,
to a point.
It's not. It's the kind of exploitative I like. It's the exploitative. It's exploitative, but it has a point to it.
Yeah.
It's not just like in other things where they're exploited because tits.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to. Well, I've criticised things like Goblin Slayer for having absolutely no purpose to quite a graphic scene, which in this film it kind of serves a purpose because it's the.
I would argue that Goblin Slayers does kind of have a purpose to a scene. I would compare more to something like Sword Art Online.
Yeah, maybe Sword Art Online.
Yeah, Sword Art Online I think is a better comparison with that one. But I think another factor is though as well. It's used for a specific commentary.
Yeah.
I do wonder though if Satoshi Kon was still alive, would he have got more criticism for this film in the modern era than he did when he was alive?
I think that's a safe bet to make considering the current state of pop culture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially being a male director creating this.
Yeah,
that being
it would
said,
definitely
I think Kon actually kind of when he died, he kind of went to that legendary status he didn't quite achieve when he was alive. Like, he was very respected when he was alive, but he hadn't achieved legendary. I mean, he was in the middle of another production when he did die.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh god, it was Dream Machine. It was called. His longtime friend and producer has kept trying to find another director to do it. They've never managed to get round to it yet, because he keeps saying, "I don't see this person being able to do what Satoshi had in mind."
I do see the value in that scene in a narrative sense, but I don't. I think it would be a struggle to kind of show such a descent into her condition with other such things. I don't know what might replace it. So, I think now if the film was to come out male director, there would be a lot more critique. I don't know if it would be accepted quite as well. But I think.
I
feel like it would definitely get some.
Yeah.
Get some hate. American Psycho gets like some. It gets like hate, and that was directed by a woman.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing though about American Psycho: is the director of American Psycho still alive?
Yes, she is.
Right. Yeah,
I think she is at least.
I don't know if. It's always different.
I'm saying more of that if it came out today.
Today,
or
yeah.
if she was still around today.
I think it's I do think it's interesting idea, but here's the thing for me about Perfect Blue. It's would you agree with my statement that it's a flawed film, but it's good in spite of its flaws?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I would say overall it's a very good film.
Yeah.
I think its flaws they really don't detract from that. They don't take away from how.
I'll be honest. I didn't really notice any it might take another viewing to see, but I didn't really notice any flaws when I watched it.
It does kind of fuck with the audience a little too much, I think. I know it's designed to get into the character's head, but I think it also, there's kind of things where you go like, okay, you're doing a bit of gymnastics with the narrative right now.
Again, though, I do. Yeah. Me personally, I do like it. I'm one of those viewers who doesn't really want all the answers. I do like trying to figure things out for myself.
Dark Souls fan in a nutshell.
Yeah.
This is a great novel. It's like 50 post-it notes placed around the house.
Yeah. It's very reflective of that, I think. And,
sure.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, Ren.
No, I was just going to say it is very reflective. Like you're not meant to know what's going on until it kind of reveals it to you. But I actually think that the reveal is part of the is my major criticism of the film. Really.
Which segues into my next point actually, which is this is a murder mystery. I mean, if you look back at Bennett the Sage's video on Perfect Blue, which I think he said now probably doesn't reflect his current video making style, but I still think it's a very good video. Is he asked his Twitter followers to describe Perfect Blue in a nutshell, which is, and the thing that one that came back with the most was a murder mystery with bizarre imagery. Now, how do you think it works as a murder mystery?
I think the murder mystery is more in the background, rather than anything else. I think the main focus is Mima's. Is a deep dive into Mima's psyche.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is I actually think is why I don't quite agree with that assessment of the film, because I think the murder mystery is so much in the background.
Yeah.
That
you don't even notice it.
You kind of don't notice it. You only notice it towards the end when they go for the plot twist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, I think possibly that could have been left out and.
Well, no, it couldn't have been left out because otherwise you don't have the events of the film.
Because I mean, if it did that, it would lead to like a lot of the big events not being in the film, like all the deaths and everything that happen.
It does just seem strange because like you say, Elliot, I think it's so focused on her experience of what's happening, and then to kind of throw in, oh well, you have to consider this as well. I don't know, that makes it seem less of like a I don't know, it makes it distracts it. I think
it seems more focused on this woman's turmoil and psychosis being exploited by an industry, rather than the murders.
Yeah.
So on that basis, then I think we kind of died around it. What do we think about the plot twist of it?
I like it, but I don't.
Without going into detail right now, we'll go into detail in a minute.
One thing we haven't brought up, we haven't actually brought in the Stalker.
The Stalker, yeah, he's
actually that leads me to another point. Something I really like about this film is that. Outside of everyone who was in Cham, the idol group that Mima was once a part of, everyone looks in some way grotesque.
Yeah,
they do look in some way like ugly, and considering like the fact that the three in any other anime would just look normal, but in this one they look drop dead gorgeous.
That's it's another trope of Satoshi Kon. It's again his commentary on the masses.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, it's that we are actually. He's very cynical. He had this very much idea of us deep down being quite ugly to each other.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I noted a resemblance. It might have been just an artistic choice between the Stalker and another pivotal character. It was mainly to do with the distance between their eyes. Like, the Stalker had very far apart eyes, and then the other character had similarly, but not quite to such an extent. I think you're definitely meant to know if people look off that they're wrong uns in this film.
Yeah, like the worse their intent, the worse they look.
Yeah.
The Stalker character is really ahead of its time, considering that it comes out of time when internet access is not a majorly huge thing, and it kind of predicted just how the worst of the internet was going to go.
I think since Perfect Blue came out, there have been numerous stories of stalkers with pop idols.
Yeah,
especially in like Japan.
Yeah, Will Smith wrote a whole song about a stalker going back to actually finding his address and being at his house during the Oscars.
I think one of the more well-known ones was when a well-known YouTuber did a concert, and then a stalker of hers went there and shot her before killing himself.
Yes, I remember that story. Yeah, it was awful.
It also recently happened at TwitchCon with Amaranth. Her stalker was there.
Really?
He had to get taken out by security.
Claire's big into K-pop, and she's telling me about one of the members of Twice, Nyon, having a German stalker who was actually like messaged her saying, "I'm outside your house. What's the passcode to get in?"
I suggest if you're looking for more stuff like that, I suggest looking up at watching The Gamer from Mars. He does a number of videos like that.
Apparently, the light novel came out after. Do you know about Bjork's Stalker? He sent like a package with acid that was meant. Sorry.
Now, when you say
Yeah.
when you say acid, do we mean the substance or LSD?
The substance. So
Right.
she was to open the book and it would supposedly explode and anyway, it's really grotesque. But he ended up killing himself.
I do love the there's a great John Oliver joke where he says Iceland, the home of Europe. It's the home of Bjork. What are you?
Yeah, so it was some absolutely bizarre case that happened around then, and only since then I think it's become more and more prevalent, doesn't it? As people are in the public eye.
Yeah, there's a really weird there's a really strange story where a fan apparently, and we're not people are skeptical on whether this is actually true, but a fan apparently figured out where a Pop Idol's address was by seeing the reflection in her eyes.
Wow,
Again, a lot of people are skeptical on whether that's true or not.
I'm going to join the skeptics on that one.
Yeah, but that has happened with other people though. But it's going off selfies and the background buildings.
Yeah,
people been able to figure that out.
It's amazing what you can do with that one, but it's also kind of weirdly frightening.
Awful parasocial relationship.
But it's interesting that we're talking about all this, and this is kind of reflected in Perfect Blue. That's out well before this is a commonplace thing.
Definitely.
So Con, I think he kind of saw something coming with that one.
In a way, yeah.
But incidentally, what do we think of, without going into the twist, what do we think of the reveal of who's behind everything?
It does bring up a big logistical problem, in my opinion.
I kind of agree.
Which I'll explain afterwards.
As I said, I like the twist, but at the same time, I don't. I like I like where it reveals who it ends up being, but I don't really like how she is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't, to be honest, I kind of wish there wasn't a reveal. I wish it was all psychological.
But there was a reveal, but it didn't have the ending that...
Yeah, God, not the... yeah.
Yeah, no, it has that reveal, but it's more an afternote.
Yeah, and the ending is everything is tied up in a neat little package, when it shouldn't be.
But I
think the ending is something that I definitely think... Yeah, this is kind of what Joker did, and in my eyes, the Joker did it better.
Yeah, I agree. But the I like about it is this idea I was going, yeah, that makes sense. Wait, no, it doesn't.
Yeah. So are we in spoilers now?
Yeah, we are in spoilers. Yeah. So the identity is it's the best friend character slash
Rumi.
Rumi, who's her best friend slash
managerish.
Manager, we think.
Yeah, kind of.
But she's now also succumbed to a sort of madness and believes she is Mima, yeah.
Or to be more exact, the Pop Idol version of Mima.
Yeah.
So she was also corresponding with the stalker and sending the stalker messages saying to kill the actual Mima because Rumi believed that she was Mima, if that makes sense.
And she was also passing along the story what she's been doing throughout the day.
Yes.
With the
But one of the best, it does lead to one of the best imagery in that thing with the sort of like the bouncing happy Mima, then corresponding with Rumi just looking so wild and savage.
Yeah. So that's a big problem. How the hell is she so athletic given the size of her?
I imagine when it comes to the sort of the bouncy danciness, I imagine that's sort of in Mima's head. I don't think she's actually doing that.
Yeah, because we saw in the reflection what she actually looks like running. And no way could she go up and down the apartment block, jumping over railings, trying to kill her.
I mean, it is because when she puts the wig back on, she looks just like Mima, essentially.
Well, that's only to her.
Yeah, exactly. To her.
But we see in the reflection in the background, in the action scenes, what she actually looks like.
I think it might have been a little bit comedic if they were doing a shallow Hal moment. Like,
Mind you, it's really weird considering as well. I mean, that being said, I didn't realise you could make a pop song like that be that creepy as well.
Yeah.
Oh dear God, I'm never going to get that out of my head. But the thing about it is, though, is like there's not much build up to the idea of Rumi being behind everything.
I do. I kind of see it because when you take a look at everything, when everyone's sort of trying to get Mima to do something, like she was the only one who was against Mima being an actress, saying it's Mima's choice. She was the only one who was against her being in the scene.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see she has her own image of what Mima really is. and kind of wants to, and like is looking out for her. She's taken out everyone who's sort of done Mima wrong in her eyes. I don't like. Meanwhile, the twist that she thinks she's Mima comes completely out of nowhere.
It's a thing called going back to Bennett Sage's video here. It's a thing called folie à deux, which means the madness of two. And it's the idea, it does happen in real life, but it's very, very rare.
Yeah.
It felt very strange to me to have, because throughout the film we do see that Mima is experiencing hallucinations, delusions, all sorts of different things, and blackouts. And then for the end of the film to be like, oh no, it was all roomy, Mima's fine. Well, no, she still experienced all of those things. So realistically, she should have gone to hospital.
Which is what I think actually did happen, where we saw with the DID scene. In my opinion, she did have a breakdown, but by the end of the film, she had recovered and was discharged. And that's why she says in the car, "I'm the real one."
Right,
that's a new interpretation.
Because that's just mine.
That's fair. That might be.
That's an interesting interpretation.
Which is just my interpretation.
We're not going full Matt Pat with this.
Oh Jesus, no.
No, otherwise we'd be mentioning more FNAF.
Because that interrogation / doctor scene is I think is one of my favourite ones. Is the so it's her saying I'm actually this person, but the doctor or the act, it's very
I
can't explain.
No,
it. It's great.
I do like that scene because it's kind of it is almost sort of her sort of going into the idea that the current Mima that she is an imposter, and then it just goes back to the TV show.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Aaron, because my point's completely off topic.
Because when I was watching that scene, I was like, oh fuck, they're really doing like a multiple personality thing. Oh my god, right, okay, so that's the twist. Oh wait, no. It does that so many times, it makes you think, oh, she's the murderer, or she's a different person, and that's the explanation.
But it doesn't really offer many options. For a murder mystery, it doesn't really offer many options on suspects, if you catch my drift. Like, there's either going to be...
it tries to get you to think that the stalker is the killer the entire time, until like the very end, where you see he's one of the victims.
Yeah,
but it was... I don't
know if he's a victim.
But it was one of those... I'm so sure he's doing all the killings. Yeah. Yes, I'm really sure. This is definitely not going to be a plot twist later. How long we got?
Also, in fact, how could he see? Because he had major cataracts in his eye. Because it was completely glazed over.
Is that what that was? I thought.
I do like the scene of him actually trying, where he's at a distance and looking like he's actually holding Nima as if she's an actual object. Yeah. That is an amazing.
That's what a lot of stalkers see their idols as in some way.
And it does. It even plays into like anime. I'm really going to piss people off with this one, but anime merchandising with the way that you can buy the figurines of these characters.
I mean, people are commodities in this respect. I mean, I'm going to liken it to K-pop.
I'm not exempt from this because I bought a lot of anime figurines over the years.
Yes. I'd also, in fact, all your body pillows.
Yeah,
I do not have body pillows. I've drawn the line on that one.
I have plushies. Is that anything?
No. Well, I think. Given that they're not actual people, the reason I'd liken it to K-pop is you buy albums and you get trading cards with them, and those trading cards have images of the idols in them, and you literally collect them and trade them.
What about the
people?
Surely
like Match Attacks.
Maybe like Match. They don't have stats.
Do they get Pop Funko figures as well?
Probably.
Do you know what the weirdest Pop Funko figures? It's only sold in Japan, but I was so surprised this existed. It was Scatman Johnson, the guy behind. Yeah, he was huge in Japan.
Wow.
I mean, he's a meme. Come on.
Yeah. Was a meme, unfortunately.
Was a meme.
Oh, it's just...
I'm a Scatman!
Honestly, I watched the Todd and Shadows episode on his song, and I'm like, I've got so much more respect for that man.
Yeah.
So what is... here's one, actually, before we go into a bit more rounding up of our thoughts on it. There's one Matt Pat theory, because we're going to get onto this, that I actually think might be true. And
one sec, to make it a real Matt Pat theory. Five Nights at Freddy's, continue.
That I think is
Seriously,
true.
He mentions Five Nights at Freddy's like 3 times in his videos, even if they're not Five Nights at Freddy's related, apparently.
Incidentally, the one I'm on about, he doesn't mention it. So any guesses what I think might be one of his ones that might be correct?
Well, one
of his film theories, I believe. One of his film theories might be correct.
I don't know which one.
Which one?
Watch him.
Blair Witch.
Oh. that one, yeah.
His theory is that there is no Blair Witch. The other two have set her up to has set her up to die in the basement, and it's a whole elaborate thing.
That would make sense.
Which again, it kind of makes sense because it's sort of thing. How do we go? But again, we don't see the Blair Witch in that film because of a camera fuck up. They actually did have a plan to see the Blair Witch originally. It was going to be just this guy in a massive white suit all over, but they looked terrible. But
so they were essentially going to make him do a sheep ghost.
They were kind of going down the route, but when they looked at it, it was like,
just imagine, oh my god, it's a Blair Witch!
No, just says that's a member of the KKK.
And
They just got lost in the woods.
Yeah.
The funny thing is though, they just took one look at it and said, this looks terrible. We can't have this in.
Yeah.
But
which I think was for the best. I think it's good that you don't see the Blair Witch.
Absolutely.
until the sequel.
Yeah.
Oh
That's better.
At the same time, who the fuck talks about Book of Shadows?
no, the other sequel,
Oh.
Blair Witch 2016.
In that case, who the fuck talks about Blair Witch 2016?
I barely remember it. The only thing I remember about it is you see the Blair Witch in it, and I was in Edinburgh at the European Autism Conference when I went to see it.
The only thing I remember about Blair Witch 2016 is that they made a Blair Witch video game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's actually all right. Not great.
Which also made my Bloober team.
Well, it better be alright. But better be alright. They're now doing the Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yep.
Oh wow.
The funny thing is actually on Blair Witch, going a bit off topic. How was it? There was only like 5, including myself, there's 5 people in the cinema opening night in the capital of Scotland. How is it you got this low of an audience?
Yeah.
Incidentally, that's actually a good point. Actually, if someone tried to remake Perfect Blue, would you want it to be animation or live action?
I feel like it would have to be animation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it could be either.
Apparently, actually, there was like a a Japanese or an Asian TV drama called Perfect Blue.
Is there?
It's not this.
Yeah, that's what I find weird. So that might cause a bit of category confusion.
I think it's actually I could be wrong. I think it might be a live action movie adaptation of it as well. Give me a check.
I think a lot of the I don't think the anime style uses that much anime style, if that makes sense. Like the film's very grounded and realistic in a lot of it.
Yeah, like when you look at the character models, as I said, the Cham are the only ones who really look anime.
Probably Khan's most anime film is Paprika, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people would point out Paranoia Agent, but Paranoia Agent has a very similar imagery and is also kind of grounded, but it has a supernatural element in the background.
Oh yeah, I was right. A live action film adaptation of the novel Perfect Blue, Yume Nara Samete, was later made and released in 2002. This is a version directed by Toshiki Sato from the screenplay Shinji Amaoka and Masahiro Kobayashi.
Well,
I apologise to the people if they didn't think that pronunciation was good enough, but we don't speak fluent Japanese, so fuck you.
No, I'm okay with names. I'm just dyslexic.
Yeah. No,
I'm big surprise. It's got a 6 out of 10.
Oh no, trust me. It's anime YouTube. Someone will be pissed off by how you pronounce names.
Oh.
I'm just okay, guys. I'm dyslexic, okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, but they still won't care.
They still won't care.
No.
Trust me, but we care, Elliot.
Yeah.
we do.
You shouldn't.
Well, we do. So shut up.
Oh.
So, before we go into the next part of the topic, what is it? Do we think Perfect Blue is a good Halloween anime?
It's one of the scary. I'll be honest. Like as I said, it's been a while since I felt that sense of dread after watching a film. So I'd say it's one of the best horrors I've seen.
I wouldn't say horror, but I would say thriller definitely.
Psychological thriller.
Yeah,
Then.
I would say yeah.
No, again, I consider it a horror just because again, I don't think you would really get that level of dread from just a thriller.
Well, I will liken it to another film that I've seen fairly recently that has that same underlying sense
3,
of dread.
2, 1, Black Phone.
Black Phone does not have that many horror elements.
I'm gonna have to see this movie.
Really, because I've heard people say it's terrifying.
It has that underlying sense of dread, which I think it doesn't have so much jump scares and like terror.
If-
I'd say it's just very unsettling.
If I order this movie,
Simple.
if I order this movie on Amazon as soon as we're done with the recording, will you shut the hell up about that?
Yeah, because I want you to talk
No,
about it with
I
me.
mean, if it makes you feel any better, I really want to watch that film.
It's super good. So I mean, if you watch it, then we can talk about it, and it will be out my system.
all right. I will buy it as soon as we're done recording.
I mean, I'm already giving him his bleach fix as I'm reading the
That's
interview
true.
with
Yeah,
Amanda.
I'm so pleased.
Give me my bleach!
Byakuya needs to go
Bankai!
fighting. Byakuya needs to go fighting now.
Dude,
That
so
fight
good.
is fucking
So
great.
good.
What?
I remember loving that fight when I watched the anime years ago.
The thing for me is though, with Halloween, I kind of want something more spoopy than scary. So I think I'd more watch something like, or something in between that. So I think I'd watch something more like Hellsing, or
What did I watch the other day that's unsettling?
or if you want to go full spoopy, Gegege no Kitaro.
I'll tell you a good horror film I watched the other day. Death Becomes Her.
Oh yeah, that's the
Sorry,
old one.
not horror film, spooky film.
Yeah,
is the
because
best way to put it.
it's with the two women and Bruce Willis.
Yes,
Yes.
and they can't die.
Yeah,
I've got
Oh,
that,
that's so funny.
and the theme song's back in my head.
I don't remember.
Ge- ge-
Okay.
ge-
Gegege no ge.
no ge- ge- ge.
It's oh god.
Wow, that film, that anime came out like 4 or 5 years ago.
It was still great seeing the shots they took at Logan
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, I love that bit. Best part of the first episode. I still think that show's alright. I just kind of
It was
lost
pretty
touch
good.
with it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not watching his match in Saudi Arabia. Fuck off.
No.
Yeah. No, I believe he's wrestling. isn't he?
No, the best thing to come about Logan Paul is like he lost millions of dollars on NFTs.
Thank
Yes.
God.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of it.
Is it Logan Paul who owns some of the most expensive
Actually,
Pokemon cards?
yeah.
in the
Yes.
world?
Yeah,
Actually, that's
he's
it.
got a giant big edition Charizard with a gold chain.
Actually, we'll get to your point in a minute, Elliot. Do you reckon you could make a horror story about NFTs or the concept of NFTs? Like, don't sell them, but the idea of what we've done to ourselves by allowing NFTs to be a thing and be as big as they
just
are.
make it a documentary
I can see it in a way. I don't know. Maybe like a bunch of people fighting and trying to kill each other over NFTs, but I think that would more fit like an action thriller.
Well, so I spoke to someone about NFTs and they raised a really interesting concept. We've gone way off topic, but I just wanted to follow me on this. So the idea that they're all like randomly generated. Supposedly, if you take away the fundamental like economic value of NFTs, if you have something like a randomly generated story, but you can kind of like trade aspects of it. So maybe if it's like a D&D thing, you grow up in a village, you are raised by a dragon, these kind of things.
Blah blah blah.
And
Oh, are you saying you grew up in a village raised by an NFT?
maybe. But the idea that you can have these interchangeable, semi-randomised aspects of a storyline, I think might be quite an interesting one. I don't know how you might
Do you know
incorporate
something?
that into horror, but
Except they've actually made NFT animated shows.
Yeah.
They are fucking awful. Like you have to buy an exclusive NFT to watch some of them.
wow.
And
Is it awful in like a YouTube poop way?
No, they are dead serious.
Okay.
they are some of the worst things you ever see. Like again, watch the Cryptoland video if you want a laugh.
Or if you want to not give them money, you can watch Cynical Reviews episode on NFTs.
If you want an NFT horror film, just have a documentary on the economic trajectory of how this
Hey.
sold.
Do you want? But that was my point because one of the things I think about modern internet horror is they don't really go into what we're actually afraid of when we're online. Well, they just sort of like let's just do the
Sock puppets!
where? They sort of just go into this idea of let's do a typical horror film and stick and put it on the internet type things. Like you get things like Unfriended, which is just internet ghost, or
Yeah.
Friend Request, which is Facebook witch.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Nah, I've always like just try and watch scary stuff when I was. Actually, if you want something that's more spoopy than scary, Spree.
Oh,
haven't seen that.
I've not
That's
seen that.
that film was great. It's basically an Uber driver who wants to make it big on the internet, so he live streams his killing spree.
Whoa.
And you know what? The film's great. I really, really enjoyed it. It's like all told from the perspective of like cameras.
I think a really good example of modern horror would be that episode of Black Mirror with the where you get notifications on your phone and you're instructed to do certain things, otherwise they leak information.
Oh, shut
Oh,
it
so
down.
King's Game.
It is basically King's Game, yeah.
That I'd say is a really good interpretation because that's all. I mean, it's very prevalent now because everyone accepts cookies and things.
The
like
thing
that.
is, I watch Elvis the Alien. I've seen people try and do those kinds of films like with AMI or Countdown or Selfie Man. They do never show up good. I mean, what do you expect from a film named Selfie Man?
Yeah, it just sounds like the world's shittest superhero.
Yeah. So,
Save me, selfie, man, I'm burning! Hang on.
No, not hang on. My work here is done.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
He's not going to beam up now.
Oh
Is he?
God! In other words, it's another version of do I see a lovely pigget that is very much lacking in its number of bees?
A large influx of bees ought to put a stop to that.
I love the idea. It's just turning into Captain Hindsight.
Yeah.
So the other topic we really want to talk about today is the fact of us actually trying to make this episode, which was it was fucking impossible to track this down.
Yep.
I only managed to get my copy because I bought it from CEX.
And I managed to get my copy off the recommendation of Elliot buying his copy of CEX.
You're welcome.
And Cal lent me his, which I still have, and he's probably not going to get back anytime soon.
So yeah, and I got my copy. Like I got my copy a few years ago. I was writing my book on
Plug.
Yeah.
Oh, is that in there, is it?
Buy now! Don't worry, it's not as beat up as this one. Buy now!
I wrote about Perfect Blue in that one because I wanted to do a bit about Con. I was originally meant to do about Paprika as well, but I had trouble comprehending what was going on in it, so I dropped it.
You're probably not the only one.
So I dropped it, and I thought I'm not going to write something about it which I don't believe in. And I even write in the back of the book why I didn't write about Paprika. It also explains why I didn't write much about Hajime no Eppo. No, I did write about Hajime no Eppo, but I couldn't access much of it.
That was it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, that also ties to another, what we're talking about, which is anime accessibility, which is why have some of this older stuff kind of lost, because it's not Perfect Blue's not on Netflix, it's not on Amazon digitally, whether it's on Amazon Prime or to purchase through the Amazon store.
No, is it region locked?
It is on some of the Blu-rays.
Standard Blu-rays are region locked. 4K copies aren't region locked.
Right, okay.
Because once they move to 4K, they scrapped region locking.
Got it, okay.
So we're about to lose region locking as a thing. But not everything's going to come over in that process of...
Exactly.
So like, let's say, for example, something that might get lost. Here's something I've often thought might get lost. Which is one of the reasons why I haven't got rid of my Funimation account just yet, because it's still transferring over stuff to Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
And it's the 2001 version of Fruits Basket. Like, I know the 2001 version of Fruits Basket is incredibly inferior to the reboot that we had, but I think it's necessary to preserve that part of history. Like that, this was the first attempt to adapt Fruits Basket, and it didn't quite work out.
It would be like if they tried to get rid of the original Fullmetal Alchemist when Brotherhood's out.
Or
It's still some worth in watching it.
Yeah, because that's the whole argument in the game industry now about piracy and emulation. Because these old games aren't getting re-released.
Yeah.
So you rip a ROM off to store it for future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I don't have much... Now, my attitude on emulation is... I don't mind it if you're doing an old game that's very hard and not easily accessible. If you're doing something that's currently out, you're a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's always the stance
Like,
I've had
one of the most annoyed I've been all year is when I saw people get the code for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and they were posting that they were playing it on their Steam Deck. It was like, thanks asshole, you might end up spoiling this game for me like a week before I get it.
Well, don't forget when Metroid Dread first came out, Kotaku ran an article saying, go emulate it now. Here's a link to the guy who's dumped the ROM online.
What?
Yeah.
Kotaku, we think we're journalists.
Yeah, so they did that and they all said, here's the emulator we're using, here's a link to the emulator.
Wow.
So that's why everyone called them out and they took down the article and put it back up, scrubbing out information.
Well, yeah, because they basically endorsed theft.
Exactly, yeah.
What? Fucking come on, Kotaku! You used to be good, damn it!
They never used to be good.
Well, that's a debate for another day.
They were like when I was reading them.
Yeah,
but I only saw the good articles.
Well, there you go.
There you go. But here's the thing, Elliot. Another one I thought of a few for each of us. I thought that might get lost. Like, well, for example, you really recommended Claymore, and Claymore's really good. Claymore's not currently on Crunchyroll yet. It's not come over in the transfer yet.
It's on Funimation, but that's about it.
For now.
Similar thing came up when I was trying to rewatch Kill la Kill with Claire. You know the only streaming service at the time that had Kill la Kill? Channel 4.
Really?
In the UK?
4OD, yeah. 4 on demand.
Yeah,
What?
No, here's the thing I find annoying. annoying. Like a few months ago, because I started sort of watching anime in the background when I was doing something like playing Elden Ring. At one point I thought, oh, you know what, I'll put on some One Piece. The only place I could find One Piece was on Funimation in America. I had to... In other words, you cannot watch it unless you have a VPN.
Yeah.
That is starting to improve now with the move to Crunchyroll. Again,
Not with the dub, though.
not with the dub. You're right. The dub, and again, that's an issue as well. The dub. Dubs, there is another one. There's a lot of dubs that are very inaccessible. Like, it's very hard to... Like, the UK, without VPN, you don't have access to the dub for My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu. Which is a shame, because I actually want to watch the dub of that one. Even if you purchase the Blu-rays in the UK, they do not include the dub.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that they don't have the dub for My Teenage Comedy Snafu or for One Piece. That they have Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out in every fucking language.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you say that, but like Uzaki-chan's not a really good show.
No, it's good. I just think, because you want to what people are wanting to watch.
Yeah.
Uzaki-chan in German.
At the end of the day, they have to follow the trends, and the fact that they're putting so much effort into current popular shows in all languages means that will be there for the future, hopefully.
But does it mean the reboots are going to reignite some of these things coming back? Like when Trigun's reboot comes out, are we going to get more access to Trigun?
Whenever something releases on Netflix, Cowboy Bebop, for example, went up.
Death Note went up when Death Note... So we might have got terrible shows, but there was more access to the original
We'll probably
ones.
get Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood back when the next live-action film comes out.
It's already come out.
What?
Yeah, it's even worse.
The third film's out now.
A third film?
Third film.
November review, everybody!
If I want them to make another Netflix anime adaptation, I want it to be the Bleach one, because that one was actually halfway
Yeah, the Bleach one was alright.
Yeah.
If I remember, the Assassination Classroom one they did was alright. From what I heard.
Yeah, but everyone looked really miscast.
The
Yeah, and Full Metal Alchemist didn't. It isn't even that small!
Yeah, I know. They don't look. They look miscast in that one, but they look even more miscast in Assassination Classroom.
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
yeah, I totally believe you're in school.
The class of ass.
There was another adaptation that's got good reviews is the Diamond is Unbreakable, JoJo's one.
Live action.
Live action.
I've seen that.
Oh, I didn't know they had that.
I've had pot for.
Oh, just tell me they got Dio's voice. That's just to dub it. Over the actual guy. I don't care who he is. It's just no one else can go Zawaldo.
I was watching like an old show with him in. I can't remember what it is. It was like a really minor role. Anyway.
Well, one of the things is that Dio's voice actor is in Transformers.
What?
Yeah, he's the Japanese voice of Optimus Primal, the giant transforming monkey.
No! Oh,
Wow.
fucking A!
Love that.
What's the okay? I'm trying to think of some other, but it's kind of like, where do we think this is going?
Actually, here's one that's not anywhere that I would love because I think it's an amazing manga. Bakuman.
Yeah, that's probably not going to get.
And that's not anywhere, which is a fucking shame because that one's really good. It has 4 seasons, damn it.
Monster is a show that's had
Monster!
availability as
Yes,
well.
Monster!
Yeah. And I think that's starting to be released somewhere. I can't remember.
One weird. There's even some
Wait,
weird.
Ren. There's live action.
Oh, Ace! The hair's great, isn't it? Wow.
It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, honestly?
Really?
I'll have to give that a go.
It's.
That's great. I love that.
Do you know what's
Funny
weird?
that they chose part 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Do you know what's weird? There's some weird ones. Like one anime I really like is the Eccentric Family. It's a really niche one. And not many people paid attention to it, annoyingly. But I think one of the big reasons was it wasn't in Crunchyroll UK for a start. First season isn't, but it is available on DVDs. It's very accessible on Amazon. I went on there the other day. You could still pick up a copy of it. Even though it's out of print, weirdly. The one that... but
this one actually confuses me. JoJo's is on Netflix, but only part 1, 3, and 6.
That makes no sense.
I don't understand that.
In other words, for the in other words, for like, if you want to watch English dub for like part 2 or 4 or 5, you're gonna have to look elsewhere.
Well, didn't part 5 release on Crunchyroll?
Part 5 did release on
So
Crunchyroll.
it might be that they have the license for that, but it's still very
but the,
stupid.
yeah,
But it's What? But that's stupid. You have to go to different sites to watch different parts of Crunchyroll. And it'll be even harder if you want to watch it in the dub.
If you want to watch free, uninterrupted, ad-free anime, go to bleep.com.
But my favourite,
Yes,
but going back to
my favourite anime.
bleep.it/ru.
I watched.
but
I use that to watch Inuyasha.
But Eccentric Family, the first season is only on DVD over here. But the second season is on Crunchyroll. And it gets a bit weird with my Team Romantic Comedy Snafu. Only the third season is on streaming services in the UK.
Oh no, I just checked. Part 2 is in English on Netflix.
What is it?
Yeah.
So it's only
part 2.
So it's only part 4 and 5 that are missing. But that's still a bit weird that you don't.
It wasn't last time I checked.
Yeah, well, they've lumped part 1 and part 2 together.
Oh yeah,
Well, that's fucking dumb.
I should explain, Elliot. Season 1 is part 1 and part 2 lumped together. There's not enough in part 1 to justify the entire full season.
Because otherwise it's like 9 episodes and like 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Part 1's like 30 volumes. You could easily stretch out to 12 episodes.
I'll be honest. When I first watched it, I watched because I watched it into the integrated films because they made a feature-length film,
Which I think
covering
makes more
part
sense.
one.
That's the best way to watch it.
I was very confused because I'm sure there should be some more padding to this story. It feels very fast zipping between 1 and 2 places.
So there's prime examples of all that sort of thing, and it makes me wonder: I mean, things are improving now, but how much incentive is there for these licensing companies to go back and make even more access? I mean, here's a follow-up to that question. Would you guys be willing to, if there was more anime on these things and more access all around, would you be willing to pay a couple pounds more to access these streaming services?
Well, it depends how much they get on there to compensate. Otherwise, it's only like 2 extra shows than that. But if it's like 10 or more, then maybe.
Yeah, well, wouldn't it be worth it if it was just like, pay £2 more to watch the first 50 episodes of Inuyasha or something like that?
The difficulty is, I think, is that there's so many different streaming services, and it would literally be impossible to just get everything on one. I think
on the besides from the union busting we've had, I think one of the dumbest decisions Crunchyroll has done since the Funimation merger has been the getting rid of the free tier. For the site with the ads on it.
I didn't know that they'd removed
Wait, they got rid of that?
They're in the process of getting rid of it. They're giving
Sony!
I think that is a Sony decision at the end of the day.
If it happened after the merger, so I'm certain it isn't a Sony thing.
And it is. I think Sony was wise to say Crunchyroll takes it will dissolve Funimation, because Crunchyroll as a brand has a bit more recognition and a bit more goodwill. And the thing is, it's like, don't burn the goodwill. The whole reason you pick Crunchyroll and Funimation, it has more goodwill right now than. Yeah. But I mean, admittedly, other than that, but that's a prime example. It's like, how much will the team say, we don't need to bring this thing over from Funimation with the thing? It's not fully done yet. Like Claymore's not on there, as from last I checked.
No, it's not, I think.
I don't. There's a couple. It took him ages to get the dub version of Banished Hero from Hero Banished from the Party.
Hero
banished from the party.
Hero from the party banished.
From the Hero Banished Party.
Okay, we get the point.
From the makers of Hero Banished Party.
Z. At least
Comes Opai, the movie.
At least it's not the anime that I don't say out loud because I mispronounce it every single time.
Go on.
Asabai Asabase.
Yeah! He said it wrong!
Beautiful.
I'm just doing it in my head.
White.
My favourite, is that joke?
Ladies and gentlemen, the man who wrote a book on anime.
Can I also add to the discussion on this one, though? Actually, I want to ask Reese on this one.
Yep.
Actually, how much of Gundam is accessible now? Because that's a bit of a hodgepodge about what you can get and what you can't get.
So on the official YouTube channel, there is a lot of it up there, but we're still missing stuff like X Gundam, Turn A Gundam, Seed. Unfortunately, and Seed Destiny are fully up there, remastered.
The two that I'm most upset that I can't find good ways to watch them is 00AC and 0083.
Yeah, so with 0083, that's an OVA series, so that's a lot harder to get somewhere streamed.
Yeah, and again, it's like, well, they've not.
I mean, personally, I'm just happy I could at least watch the original Gundam on like Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some good stuff on there. Like, I mean, we now have ways to watch the movie version of the original Gundam, which is the best way to watch that.
So it takes out most of the filler.
Which you don't need. We've got things like Gundam the Origin now, and Iron-Blooded Orphans is very accessible. 00 is very accessible.
Witcher Mercury is on Crunchyroll and YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, on
Same
YouTube
time.
as well.
Yeah, but it's behind Crunchyroll, so make sure people
Right.
people watch it through the service that charges more.
Yeah, so it was exclusive to Crunchyroll for 2 weeks.
So why is Gundam so magnanimous with its anime delivery?
Well,
I think just because of how massive the franchise has gotten, it just needs to go on another
Yeah,
time.
so the whole thing with the franchise now, they've got as many people watching anime as they want, but they make most of the money from the Gunpla, which is why they've started opening up new factories to build it specifically.
Oh,
So-
wow.
so-
Yes.
I mean, it's like when I think most of the sales I get in anime generally is merchandise.
Yeah.
No, it is. Demon Slayer made more money on merch. We've mentioned this fact before, but I'm sorry for repeat viewers.
Three of you, including us.
Demon Slayer made more money in merchandise than the year the train arc film came out, because and I put it this way, and that was one of the highest grossing anime movies ever, and it's the merchandise sale still made more money than the manga and the film combined.
Yeah. Also, a fun fact from total sales of Demon Slayer, it outsold the entirety of Marvel and DC Comics combined.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
just on Demon Slayer alone with merch.
Oh,
Who reads for
both of it.
Yes, but Marvel and DC combined.
Last I checked, it was just Batman.
No, Marvel and DC.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So that's staying modern Western comics compared to one Japanese series.
Well, it's where
It's just
anime
funny because
started,
the Demon Slayer manga is all right. The main selling point with the anime is the animation.
Yeah.
It's where Titans like Pokemon and Titans, Digimon got their start, isn't it? It was the anime was to sell the product, really.
Well, yeah, but again with Pokemon, it's why that people think people often wonder why Nintendo is a bit iffy about their advertising with Pokemon. It's because they got to beholden to the Pokemon company. They don't fully own the Pokemon company, and the Pokemon company is making decisions about when these trailers come out for all this business of like, well, this is the card. We're going to release it alongside the cards, and we've got an anime coming, and we're going to release this merchandise for this purpose. It's a bit of an interesting dilemma on that one, and it's again, Pokemon takes quite a while to come over here. It's only since Netflix have started taking up the thing that we started getting more and more access to it over here.
Yeah, which is funny because when you look at the data, Pokemon is the highest-selling franchise of all time.
Is
Yeah.
it?
In terms of revenue.
Yeah, really,
Wow.
it is.
Yeah, because also if you even look at the card games, there's more Pokemon plays than Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic plays combined.
Pokemon.
Actually, can I ask you something on this, Reese? Again on the Gundam thing.
Wait, people actually play the Pokemon game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was just collecting.
It might be a combination of the
No,
two.
no,
because I
it's
think
the
collecting
trading
is
card.
definitely much
Yeah.
bigger.
The trading card game is huge. Like they have world
Yeah.
championships for it. Geek Retreat out in my hometown has like a day for it. It's a really big franchise. But the can I ask you something on this, Reese? Is this about Gundam? Is Gundam as big as everyone says it is, or is it a bit like the confusion we have over certain game franchises where people think it's bigger than it is, but it doesn't actually sell that much? Like everyone thinks Metroid is really big because it's got that cult status, but it's not really a big seller.
As in, it's not a big fan base, it's just a very loyal one.
No, with Gundam now, it's more popular than ever. For the first time ever, it outsold Dragon Ball as a
What?
franchise for a
Well,
year
yeah, fair play.
in total merch and sales and that.
What?
In all fairness, Dragon Ball has recently said we've had Witcher Mercury and Iron-Blooded Orphans. They've had Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, and
which
also the
is
manga,
on
which
there,
is-
just at the minute.
Yeah, but the manga's going incredibly strong for Dragon Ball,
Is
isn't it? Yeah.
So on that basis, has a new merch for Witch from Mercury come out yet? Or
Oh yeah, there's loads. There's new model kits, and fans were memeing so much about Soletta Mercury. Instead of having the Aerial Gundam, there's a brand in Japan called Aerial Snacks. There's a bag with Aerial on it, and so when they went to the Gunpla stores, all the Aerial model kits sold out instantly. So fans were going and putting the bags of the snack there. It was that successful. There's now an official collab between them,
What?
between Gundam and Aerial as
That's
a brand.
crazy. What the hell?
So fans, through the power of memes,
Yeah.
made a business collaboration happen.
Love
But
that.
that's very smart business decisions. What would you guys think would be the thing you'd most like to that's not very accessible right now that you'd like to see get more and more accessible for more people to see?
As I said, for me, it's Bakuman.
Bakuman, I agree. I think I'd love people to get their hands on that one.
It's on the Shonen Jump app if anyone wants to read it. It gets my full endorsement. I'll reiterate. It's a rom-com done by the same guys who made Death Note. And it is fucking beautiful.
Reese?
Well, for me, probably the original runs of Digimon. Considering we've had all the news about the new games coming out.
That's a point actually. I mean, the only reason I watched the first few episodes is because you lent me the DVD.
Yeah.
I'd like more access to the dub on streaming services. Like right now, you can get the sub version, but which, admittedly though, it's a tough call between the Western Digimon theme and Butterfly. It's such a hard call.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, I mean, they already have Digimon. They have Digimon Adventures.
I like. Also, I wouldn't mind on that note. I wouldn't mind an anime adaptation of Digimon Survive.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Give it a few months.
Maybe at least wait until Ghost Game's done.
Yeah. What about you, Ren? Is there anything that you think that's? I'd like that to be a bit more accessible right now.
I don't know how the accessibility of any of these, but I mean, Akira is something I feel like every anime fan should watch, and probably.
Well, Akira's had multiple dubs, so that's.
Is it?
But Akira is starting to get more accessible now.
Ghost in the Shell then?
Yeah, I mean, what about Furikuri?
Furikuri, I think that's a good
Yeah.
one because Furikuri, the not too much of it is in print.
Yeah, we had a chat about this the other day.
Yeah, no, it's a bit out of print. Like I've got a couple of volumes of it, but it's quite hard to fully access it.
This might. I mean, I don't. I know. I'm certain there are definitely a lot of people who will want to watch this. But the Yu-Gi-Oh's Pass After Vrains, because they're not on any streaming service.
A few of them were like 5Ds was, but the dub wasn't.
No, I said After Vrains.
Yeah.
After
Well,
Vrains,
well,
because Vrains was the last one that came out.
Well, there's a reason for that, because Studio Gallop shift production to another studio with the whole Rush franchise.
And so as a result, there's now...
And also, Vrains failed so badly, it didn't even get a manga adaptation.
Yikes.
So, and the subsequent Go franchises have also failed even worse, because they're trying to push a separate format that's only exclusive in Japan. It's not even in the West. So pretty much everyone's like giving up on the franchise now for anime.
Yeah, they should have just stuck with traditional ones. I think after they threw in the action duels in Arc V, I think they kind of lost the plot a bit.
Yeah.
So for people who might want to go and watch Perfect Blue, where can they find it?
Nowhere. It's really... Also, we never got to my choice, actually, on something that I want more accessible.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Well, I thought... there's a whole bunch I can think. Like, I can think of Blue Spring Ride, and that wasn't until very recently very accessible. Ghost Sick took me ages to watch it, and after I saw it, it was great.
Oh, I know your pick.
Hyoke. No, you don't, actually. What are you thinking?
Banished from the Heroes Party.
Beck Mongolian Chop Squad.
You're correct, actually. Yeah. No, but the thing about Beck is, with Beck, it's weird because when I first got it recommended through Jeiso Otaku's old channel. I don't know if Jeiso Otaku still goes by that. I don't know if I believe it goes by the name Jake Chapman now.
Wait a minute.
Me.
Since his transition. But I got recommended that one. I ended up tracking down the first 4 volumes on DVDs. It was fucking impossible to get volumes 5 and volume 6. To such an extent, volume 5, it was like every site was just out of stock, out of print. And then it's volume 6, it acted like it didn't exist. Like to such an extent, it took me ages to find the actual cover art for it. So I ended up having to watch, and I'm not proud of this one, but I ended up having to watch the final 8 episodes through an illegal streaming site because there's just no option for me otherwise. It wasn't on any streaming service. It wasn't any. Now, thankfully, the Blu-ray's out now, so you can get the complete series in Europe. But the fact I had to jump through that hoop, and the fact it's still not there, you've got one of the best coming-of-age stories. And it's barely anyone's seen it. And
Not just one of the best coming of age stories, one of the best music anime.
Yeah, didn't I lend it to one of you for one of our first time things?
No, I think we were talking about underrated anime when we were talking about
that's right. Yeah.
And I've talked so much about Beck on this channel, but I can't help but blow its horns. It's one of my all-time favorite anime. The soundtrack is amazing on it, and again, I actually wish, and this is going to sound really sacrilege actually, I kind of wish the soundtrack had the English dub singers rather than Japanese singers, because all the songs are in English no matter which version of the songs, because they're inspired by artists like Rage Against the Machine and Red Hot Chili Peppers. But put it this way, the singers in the Japanese version don't quite sound like they're that like don't sound like they are that great in singing in the English language. It definitely sounds like they've been learned to sing in Japanese, and they're sort of learning. They've only just sort of learned how to do. Like
it's not like, for example, Cold Rain, where you would not believe that they were Japanese considering how well they sing in English.
Yeah, no, that's an example of where you can tell that Cold Rain do a really good job of it.
Well, I guess another example is a band called Vamps. If you haven't heard of them, they're the guys who did the intro song to Code Vein.
Yeah, whereas the English dub, then they did actually, the singers in the show did get the English dub actors to do it, and they got Greg Aries to do most of the songs, who's the voice of oh god, you'll recognise his voice in most Funimation dubs. He's for one that most people know, he's Sunahara in Clannad. And he actually has a really good singing voice. I was really surprised by that one. But I banged on enough about Beck, so so we'll be back next month.
Where can we watch it?
Well, Beck,
Perfect Blue.
Perfect Blue. You can watch.
At the premiere, you just have to
track down a Blu-ray, really.
Yeah, like trust me, I checked on HMV like every day. It's not that. I say the best place to get it is from, if you're in England at least, is in CEX, because that's where me and Reese found our copies.
I agree. CEX is your best bet.
Second hand, maybe on eBay or something.
No, because I was checking eBay. Those listings were American copies that won't play on European Blu-rays.
So if you want a cheap version of it, you're going to need. You don't want to do CEX. You don't want to get it second hand. You're going to need a multi-region DVD player, Blu-ray player,
which do exist and are accessible, but they are more expensive than the traditional Blu-ray player.
Yeah, I've never got one for that reason.
No.
Otherwise, I would have played the Amazing Race board game by now. Okay, so what do we got? We'll be back next month. We've got an interesting topic next month. We're talking about our favourite Western shows that were clearly inspired by anime. So our favourite Western anime. And we'll try not to just talk about Castlevania.
Oh no, I am going to. I'm going to. It's my favourite show. I'm going to be blabbing about that constantly.
So we're talking about things like Samurai Jack,
Avatar,
Ben 10, and I'm going to...
Ben 10, really?
Yeah.
Probably,
Ben 10 is clearly inspired by shonen anime.
Yeah, he's also inspired by Ultraman, because one of his big transformations, the white one is just Ultraman.
What was that French one with all of the characters?
Code Lyoko. We're going to definitely
The
talk
giant
about...
foreheads.
We're definitely going to talk about Code Lyoko next month.
But all 5 seasons of it. In French.
Did I... Okay, quick question before we get into this. How many of us actually watched all 5 seasons?
Not all 5.
No, I've seen images of it, and it's
this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
I think
the foreheads, Elliot.
The
foreheads.
No, I think I most have watched like a season.
I was obsessed with that show when I was a teenager.
Well, because of giant foreheads.
Okay, great. In that case, I'll be talking about Castlevania and shutting up for the rest of them.
No,
Aside of Avatar. Avatar's fucking amazing.
Have you not watched Samurai Jack?
Honestly, no.
I
wasn't much of a Cartoon Network kid.
I've seen a
Honestly,
few episodes of Samurai Jack.
That's totally okay.
Is Voltron?
Those character models.
Do you know what's weirder? Their foreheads are weirder in the 2D models.
Yeah, because it goes between
You've watched
2D to 3D.
Megamind.
Goddamn Sakura, move over.
You have watched a live reaction of someone discovering Code Lyoko.
There we go. That's what it looked like normally in the cartoon world.
Someone got paid to design this.
Yeah.
Please tell me.
Please tell me
the foreheads apart and there's just a cannon inside.
No, but someone have done a load of reflections of people.
People just writing memes on the foreheads.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next month with that. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, guys.
Next week.
Not next week. Next month.
Never mind.
No, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.